What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Fam, it must be a hard job to be a lawyer, especially in criminal court. Hell, I say even in family court, from the stuff that I've been through the family court. But that's in the past now. That's in the past. But in the criminal court, whether you be a prosecutor or a defense attorney, let's say if you're a defense attorney and you're defending someone that you know without a shadow of a doubt that they committed a crime, but you have to defend them because in the eyes of the law in this country, they are, they have the right to a legal counsel or a good defense or whatever. Or if you're a prosecutor and you know the person that you're prosecuting either didn't commit the crime or was justified in committing the crime, but you still got to go out there and plead your case of why to give this person the maximum penalty that the law allows. Case in point, there's a story here that I'm looking at out of The Guardian, and it's probably in a lot of other publications. It states, girl who accused, person who did an offense, and it's the R word, as they say for the YouTube streets, must pay his family $150,000. We're not gonna talk about why it's crazy that it's kind of thrown off that if you use certain language in these videos that you would get dinged and might get a strike and might get removed and unmonetized when you have the bill to be monetized. But how in the world can you say it's justified to make a person pay for a crime? I wouldn't even call it a crime. Pay for an act that they felt that they needed to do in order to punish the person that committed a crime against them. Now that is crazy. But anyway, let's get into the story. I don't want to monologue for too long because I got a lot to get into with this story. It said human trafficking victim gets probation with the risk of 20 years prison for manslaughter, with judge saying no other option than to impose restitution. Now, that let you know, and then it's got to be hard to be a judge too, and that let you know, like say, law, man, the law ain't just the law. Law is just what it is, man. It's nothing to, when people say, man, you need to follow the law, or I'm a law-abiding citizen, or, Constitution is, Declaration of Independence that, I look at it and say, man, it is what it is. I mean, I don't want to poo-poo on it, but I don't give it a whole bunch of props because laws change all the time. Remember, slavery used to be part of the law. Police used to be able to say stop or I'll shoot, and then shoot you in the back. That used to be a law up until the 70s. So, heck, they got laws that tell you can't even wear hair certain ways and stuff like that. I mean, so it's crazy. I mean, so like I say, law is, it is what it is. I mean, you take it for what it is. Just keep to yourself, and I don't know. But anyway, let's get into it. It says donors to a GoFundMe appeal have raised enough money to pay the $150,000 restitution. An Iowa court ruled a teenage human trafficking victim must pay to the family of her accused person that did the R to her, whom she stabbed to death. Okay, so Piper Lewis, 17. She is 17 now, so keep that in mind. Piper Lewis, 17, was originally charged with first-degree murder in the June 2020 killing of 37-year-old Zachary Brooks of Des Moines. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter and willful injury, both punishable by up to 10 years in prison. I wish I could have done a deeper dive into this case, because I'm gonna say strike number one in the story of how, well, strike number two. I just said strike number one. Strike number two of how the laws are just jacked up. This girl was 15 when she was charged with the murder. Well, yeah, 15 when she did it. She was still a baby. I don't care what nobody says. The human brain, and it's a scientific fact and studies, that a person really doesn't start to fully grasp consequences and what's right and wrong, and to do and the right thing to do until they're 25. So up until about that age, your brain is developing, especially teenagers. Teenagers in the regular world, in a normal world, are dumb as a doorknob. I mean, they think they know everything. You can't tell them nothing. They're hard-headed as hell. Love them to death though, but they tough, man. They rough, and they think they know everything. So they make decisions when they're young. Let's just say we make decisions when we're young, and then we just don't worry about the consequences. I'm not talking about this story. I'm talking about in everyday normal life, when you are in control of everything pretty much in your life. And kids do dumb stuff. You know, we partake in illicit substances. We partake in acts of that we're in, like physical acts that only married adult people should partake in. We say words that even some adults shouldn't be saying, but you know, we think we're grown. But the one thing we don't do is pay bills at that age, you know? Nowhere, you know what I'm saying, our parents don't get to have a job and make a little money. The majority of us don't have to pay the light, the water, part of the rent when we that young. We don't understand that kind of responsibility. We think that the lights just come on automatically. But anyway, I say it to say this. So you're talking about a child that was 15 years old, the victim of trafficking. So most likely she probably, and actually we're gonna get into more of her story, but just on this point here, you know, she's not in her right mind. She's being traumatized on a daily basis, physically and emotionally. Her spirit is probably pretty much dead at this point. And you're gonna condemn her for probably pretty much saving the lives and the sanity and ending the torture of many other girls from that point on. To me, she would be deemed a hero. She should be, because this she did. Let me keep going. It's on Tuesday, a Polk County District Judge, David M. Porter, he's one of us, you know. Like I said, all scared folk ain't kin folk, but I can't really knock him because he's supposed to follow the law, right? But sometimes you do have judges who will say, hey, the heck with the law, this is what I impose. Whatever consequences that come to me, you know, I'll deal with it. But not this brother. Anyway, let's see. David M. Porter deferred those prison sentences. Let's say on Tuesday, a Polk County District Judge David M. Porter deferred those prison sentences. Very good. If Lewis violates any portion of her probation, she could be sent to prison to serve that 20-year term. Again, the victim is still being victimized for the next how long she is on probation. That's screwed. The hell with our and their laws. That's for being required to pay the estate of her assaulter, violator. This court is presented with no other option. Man, you got options. You can pay. Like I say about laws, you can change laws at any time you feel. Any portion that you want to change. Everything is not black and white in the world, but people want to believe that. Porter said, noting the restitution is mandatory under a state law that has been upheld by the Iowa Supreme Court. Now, it says that I guess the law is that if you're found convicted of murder or whatever the case may be, taking somebody out in some way, you are automatically fine. You are automatically given $150,000 fine. Now they say in the black and white scheme of things, I can understand that, try to deter people from killing people. I'm quite sure everybody in that state doesn't know that law, but still, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. But I'm quite sure everybody doesn't know that law, but I guess they're trying to deter people from doing that. But in this case, it ain't right. That law should have never been imposed. They say a former teacher of Lewis, Leland Shipper, organized a GoFundMe appeal, which by Wednesday at lunchtime has surpassed the required amount. I think they said they got like over 300,000, in restitution. She says, "I am overjoyed with the prospect of removing this burden from Piper," Ship wrote, adding, "A child who was, the R word, under no circumstances should owe the violators family money." Shipper said the money will be used first to pay off the $150,000 restitution and an additional $4,000 owed to the state. The surplus will then remove financial barriers for Piper in pursuing college, university, or starting her own business, and give Piper the financial capacity to explore ways to help other young victims of these crimes. I really think, and I don't want to, ain't nobody else's pocket, counting nobody else's money, but I really feel that a lot of that money to go to counseling. It's enough money which you can set aside, maybe, put it somewhere, like say invest in something, maybe like, school or business or what have you, but she really is going to need some form of professional counseling, maybe for the rest of her life. Because just giving anyone this young, or however old she is, just anyone, it's a lot of money, is dangerous. It's really dangerous. It says, continued, Lewis was 15 when she stabbed Brooks more than 30 times at a Des Moines apartment. Now, again, if you look at crime shows, I watch enough court TV, investigative discovery, stuff like that. When somebody stabs somebody that many times, it's a crime of passion. There's a connection between the two people. And so that right there lets you know that this child was emotionally and physically damaged and just took her anger out on her violator. Officials have said Lewis was a runaway seeking to escape an abusive life with her adopted mother and was sleeping in the hallways of an apartment building when a 28-year-old man took her in before trafficking her to other men for physical acts of violation. So she was in an abusive home with an abusive stepmom, which means her dad was sorry as hell. There's no way in the world you let anybody, first of all, as a man, you don't let a woman abuse your child, talk to your child. Now sometimes kids can over exaggerate, they can overreact, and they can really piss you off to the point of where you just want to choke them out. I understand. Got two girls, mom, but couldn't do it. But there's no way in the world. And step parents and step kids don't usually get along in the beginning. It just don't happen. But if the woman was abusive to this child, that woman should have went. You know what I'm saying? The dad should be held accountable. I don't care what he was piss poor. They say Lewis said one of those men was Brooks, and then the guy's 28 years old. Cause see what I'm saying? Kids, we as children, like I say, you think you're doing something smart, you think you know everything, but these are grown men out here know how to. And this is what I try to tell young girls and even women. Y'all don't understand. There are such things as pimps, right? It ain't just some make-believe story or some old blaxploitation movies. These people, and the majority of them are men, truly exist. Most of the time, a woman can't really be a pimp to somebody unless the person that they're controlling has already been controlled by a man beforehand, already been groomed, or, into the lifestyle. And then, but he's so abusive and beaten up and stuff like that. Now here comes the woman, and now the women have some kind of connection, and then the woman goes running to her. That happens. But besides that, it's mainly men. And these men have the gift of gab. These men know that the female nature is emotional. The female needs encouragement. The female needs protection. It needs to be felt safe. The female needs some form of a teddy bear. Someone who's nice, somebody can speak to him, just make him feel good just by his words first. Once it gets into her mind, the rest of it is history. That happens in the pimp life. That can happen in a regular one-on-one relationship. As long as dude got to get the gift of gab, show a few trinkets, smile, make a laugh. Most men can get anything they want to out of one. And once they get them in, it's over. You're okay. Lewis said that one of the men was Brooks, who assaulted her multiple times in the weeks before his death. She recounted being forced at knife point by the 28-year-old man to go with Brooks to his apartment for unconsensual acts. They said about the only who the 28-year-old man, and has he been prosecuted, went to jail, arrested, anything like that. She told officials that after Brooks, physically assaulted her yet again, she grabbed a knife from a bedside table and stabbed him in a fit of rage. So they try to say he was asleep. How you know he was asleep? Unless she said it. She might have said it in a coerced confession. It said police and prosecutors have not disputed that Lewis was assaulted by and trafficked, but prosecutors argued that Brooks was asleep when he was stabbed and was not in immediate danger to Lewis. How would you know that? How would you know what a 15-year-old girl who's been through trauma? Hell, she was sleeping in some damn hallways. How would you know that he was not in immediate danger? This dude might slept with 1 hour. You understand what I'm saying? So, some stuff I don't even want to hear. But again, it's got to be a hard job to be a prosecutor. It said Iowa is not among the dozens of states that have a so-called safe harbor law that gives trafficking victims at least some level of criminal immunity, and they need to have one then. Lewis, who earned her GED in juvenile detention, very good, acknowledged in a statement prior to sentencing that she struggled with the structure of her detention, including why was I treated like fragile glass, not allowed to communicate with friends and family. My spirit had been burned, but still glows through the flames, she read from a statement. Hear me roar, see me glow, and watch me grow. I am a survivor, she said. She said prosecutors took issue with Lewis calling herself a victim. See, the prosecutors need to be... Do they vote prosecutors in? Because that's something they need to, they need to be called out. Called out, make sure they get no more cases. History looked into, because all they want to do is become a judge, and just make sure he never become a judge or her become whoever the prosecutor is. Say took issue with Lewis calling herself a victim and said she failed to take responsibility for stabbing Brooks and leaving his kids without a father. That's the part I wanted to read about the doggone me lawyer. This lawyer's a piece of shit. Excuse my language. But like I said, I'm a father of 2 daughters. Got stepdaughters, granddaughters that are, daughters. Surrounded by women, sister, mother. So, that was my father too. I'm just not saying I got nothing but. I'm just saying I was raised with my mom and dad, but I'm just saying most of the people that's close to me are girls. Women are girls. I think if I would have heard a lawyer say something like this? Let's say in the middle of the court, me talking about me, in the middle courtroom, it said that, how dare my child leave this dude's kids without a father? That dude didn't give a damn about his kids. Why should I? You know what I'm saying? I think I was acting a plumb fool in that courtroom, and then probably would have cussed out all his family members and everybody in that court, and wish somebody would have came up on him. Like I say, he didn't care about nobody else when he was sitting there violating his girl, so he got what he deserved. Period, point blank. Use a pretty much an emotional and physical murder, a violator. So you got the punishment that you deserve. She probably got him 30 times just because she got tired. If it wasn't for getting tired, she probably still be slicing and dicing that dude. Forget that, man. Forget that. The judge peppered Lewis with requests to explain what poor choices. Now, that's another one. Need to get this dude off the bench. The judge peppered Lewis with requests to explain what poor choices she made that led up to Brooks' stabbing, and expressed concern that she sometimes did not want to follow rules in juvenile lockup. Again, do you not understand what the hell this child has been through? You expect somebody. See, that's what I'm saying. These people, I think they know what they're doing, but they just trying to justify why. Because living working in the corporate world right now, one thing I'm learning is documentation and proof is always on your side. It doesn't matter if you think you're wrong or right. Document something to make yourself look good and have it on record. So if it comes back in the future, you can say, well, hey, I tried to, hey, I did everything I could for the company. Just look what's written. Look at my witnesses. So this dude here is probably trying to say what he has to say to keep his job as a judge by the people who elected him in the first place. Because I don't live in Iowa, so I could care less about it. But he's concerned why she didn't follow rules. Again, she's been through so much, and you expect somebody who's been through so much to just wake up one day and just follow rules? Like I say, she's gonna need counseling for years. He said the next 5 years of your life will be full of rules you disagree with. I'm sure of it, Porter said. He added, this is the second chance that you'd asked for. You don't get a third. Ooh, excuse me. Man, y'all should leave this youngin' alone. For real. Because, like I said, this child is a true victim. Hell, she's 17. She's still a child. She's still a child and getting punished for something that she really wasn't in control of. I'm not sure how to take this. What I will say is that we as parents, adults, need to protect children. We as parents and adults should not wait until something bad happens to us, to our family members, before we want something done. Like right now, just by this store, we need to make, it's a time to make sure that your states, your local governments, or what have you have, I know there's safe harbors where I live. Or, a place where you can drop off kids. There's places, there are programs in the little town I'm in that, they got places, well, not the town, but the county I'm in, there's places where women and battered children can go that nobody know about. You know what I'm saying? That nobody know where it's at. You know what I'm saying? It's right there in your face and you don't even know what it is. You need stuff like that. Like I say, with programs and counseling programs to help children and women and boys too. I say children like boys too. And men too. Men need help too. People are trying to think men want men to be so hard and strong. But we go through stuff too. We need help too. Gotta pass laws. You gotta be proactive and constructive with a lot of stuff. Because I'm a firm believer of being a preparer rather than a repairer. I don't know the child's story. I'm quite sure that her dad and abusive ass stepmama will come out and tell a story different than what she's saying pertaining to the abuse. But we got to protect the kids, because the kids are the future. And if you don't protect the children, who gonna run the country? Who gonna run the world when you gone? You gotta think about that. You gotta think about that. But if you know people that are victims of abuse, report it. You know, you can talk to them, try to give them words of encouragement, offer safe places to go. But you need to report it. Even if you suspected abuse and you could be wrong. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, that if you're wrong and everybody looking at you and now everybody mad at you, but it's like you thought something was something. You know, you thought what you saw is what you thought you saw. So I know it's hard, but I think I'd rather be wrong 100 times. Well, I can't say. Yeah, I think I'd rather be wrong 100 times in situations like this, and nothing is going on, than to be wrong, but to be right one time, knowing something's going wrong and not reporting it. And then it just allows a vicious cycle to continue. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Young Miss Piper, man, I wish her well. You know, hopefully she'll get the help that she needs. Like I said, the counseling help that she needs to be a productive member of society. Use that money for good. Hopefully her little punk ass daddy and mama don't come around trying to leech the money. Hopefully, maybe they got their funds. I don't know. But this trafficking thing is real, y'all. Watch your kids, watch the social medias, who they texting, the games they play online. Watch that stuff, man. Because that's how a lot of these kids become missing. And you none the wiser, because they thinking and you thinking that they talking and playing with teenagers, or they talking and playing with girls who are pretty much hired by somebody else, who's working for somebody else, that's trying to lure this young girl into this situation. So you got to be careful. You definitely got to be careful and be smart about it. Stay in your kids' lives, show them love every day. I saw another post, and I ended with this. Like with kids, they say it's like 9 minutes of the day, like the most important to a kid's psyche towards you, knowing, showing them love and affection. One is the first 3 minutes when they wake up, and they're in your presence. Good mornings, hugs, kisses, love. 3 minutes when they get home from school. First 3 minutes when they get home from school. How was your day? Tell me about your day. Hugs, kisses, love. And 3 minutes before they go to bed. Good night, hugs, kisses, love. I say those three times are the most important times. Now, throughout the day, you still do the same thing. You love your kids, you raise your kids. Don't treat them like little babies, and stuff like that. You teach them to grow. You have your rules. You be stern. You punish. You reward. Whatever the situation calls for. But love your kids and be in the kids' lives, man. If you see a kid that needs the same kind of attention, man, do right by them too. You don't owe nobody nothing, but man, you don't know how you could help a person's life. Might even save it just by a wave or communication. But anyway, I'm out of here. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below, and then share it with the world. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace. I'll see you on the other side.